Ron's Gone Wrong. Ron's Gone Wrong is the story of Barney, who is a middle school kid in the town of Nonesuch, which is not a very clever town name in a movie, who is the only kid in town without the newest toy from a company called Bubble. Bubble created these bots that are designed to be best friends with kids and essentially help them make more friends. Almost like a pet that can talk and follow you around and help you make other friends. So basically, electronic dogs. Anyway, Barney ends up getting his own bot, but this one is defective and behaves really erratically. Barney learns the bot's name is Ron and has to make it behave semi-normally so that he can bring it to school in order to help him make friends, because he doesn't really have any. However, these things don't always go according to plan, and Barney has to figure out how to navigate this situation with Ron in order to make things right for what world he's in. And we've got our movie. This movie surprised me and shocked me, and to the point where it's probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of the year. It's very much on a similar level to The Mitchells vs. the Machines on Netflix if you haven't seen that movie, but this movie is going to entertain all audiences involved, kids and adults equally. Ron's Gone Wrong surprised me in so many ways that I couldn't even imagine, especially with its dialogue that has layers upon layers that cause you to really reflect, because each of these things has different nuances that really just get your head going. The main theme of the movie is friendship in this modern age. It explores this idea in so many different ways with a lot of different nuances, and it really gets you to just reflect on your own relationships. I think the best of movies gets you to think and reflect on your own life using subtlety, and the movie accomplishes exactly that. We'll start off with what I really enjoyed about this movie. The dialogue here is absolutely superb. Writing can be a huge part of a movie's success, especially if it can convey ideas without making them too feel force-fed and without shoving them in your face. Ron's Gone Wrong does exactly that, and it actually fits in quite a few different main ideas throughout it without making anything feel too crowded or too overbearing. Very few movies even successfully do this with 1 or 2 ideas. I would argue Ron's Gone Wrong does it with 4 or 5, which in only an hour and 46-minute runtime is super impressive, and it does all of those without hitting you in the head with a hammer. The film poses these situations between all the characters and allows them to express exactly how they feel, but then it leaves you to sort of pick up the pieces and take away from it what you will. It tells you to think rather than being told what to think, which is really refreshing. Which brings me to my next point. The movie is very thoughtful. In Ron's Gone Wrong, there's so many different points that we end up touching upon between Barney, between his dad, between his grandma, between his fellow students, between Ron, the CEO of Bubble, the executive at Bubble. There's just so many differing points of view that we get to explore and get ideas from. And the movie is intricate enough to look at each of these points of view and thoughtfully examine each of them and give us some really cool takeaways. For example, we'll start off with Barney. Barney is a lonely middle school child who's just trying to make friends in the world, so the movie takes the time and explores the challenges that come with that. Another example, the CEO of Bubble, who's just trying to make the best bots that he can and help bring joy to all these kids, but at the same time run a company responsibly. We get to explore the trials, tribulations, and challenges and successes that go with that. And the last example, Barney's dad is a guy who is just trying to raise his child in a digital age where friendship gets a little bit more ambiguous, and he explores the trials and tribulations of that and allows us to reflect. And the movie does this with so many other characters and manages to fit all of that in, and it's just absolutely rewarding for the audience to watch. There are plenty of more examples I could give you, but otherwise it would give away the whole movie, so I'll just let you marinate on that until you watch it. What else I like about this movie? This movie's a lot of fun. As I've hammered home already, the main overarching idea of this movie is friendship, but this movie executes on that in the best of ways. Ron and Barney go on many adventures throughout this movie and experience a lot of things that relationships and friendships just naturally go through, but it's executed with a lot of rapid pace, high stakes situations and nail-biting peril, which make it really fun and exciting, and it really builds the tension. And each of these encounters with the elevated tension just has you rooting for Barney to come out on top every single time. And it keeps you engaged and excited, which are 2 ingredients for a great time. Not only that, but it also delivers each of these situations with some comedic humor and laughter to go with it. There's a lot of times in this movie where I at minimum got a chuckle throughout its runtime. And you get this nice balance between high stakes and comedic humor. It provides a nice balance to the movie overall and just makes it a lot more enjoyable and keeps it from taking itself too seriously. And lastly, this movie caters to a wide audience. One of the biggest challenges with family animated films is making a movie that really caters to kids but also keeps adults from getting too bored. Making a movie that you could have a 10-year-old say is a really good movie and also a 50-year-old say is a really good movie is a very difficult thing to do. However, this movie really walks that balance excellently, making it an ideal movie for parents to bring their kids to, for example, or if you've got younger cousins, younger siblings, for you to bring them to the movie. A good portion of the movie is spent with middle schoolers and all the trials and tribulations that they go through, so it's really ideal for kids who are seeing this movie to find themselves within it, whether it be Barney or whether it's one of his classmates. That relatability can really draw you into a movie and help you empathize with it, and it makes the experience better. On the other end of the spectrum, for adults in this case. The movie really gets into some mature topics with this backdrop of animation. Ideas of friendship, corporate social responsibility, raising kids in a digital age, friendships, relationships, generational conflicts, ethical dilemmas, they're all in this movie and all get adults to reflect pretty deeply on all of these. In the movie, while visiting each of these ideas, it raises questions that you'll have probably asked yourself. That at minimum allows adults to find themselves and empathize with this movie, or at minimum just ask different questions that they might not have considered before. So with all that, what did I not like about this movie? This movie has a few brief stints of meandering on one point for maybe a little too long. For example, there are 2-3 scenes in this movie that could have been cut down or just completely eradicated. For example, we get into these scenes where things are either going greatly or poorly between Ron and Barney. However, the movie sticks around in these moments for a little bit too long, really slows it down for just a little while. And the other thing I didn't like about this movie, it spent very little time on what could have been the most interesting part of the whole movie. For the sake of spoilers, I won't give away what exactly that idea was, but I will say this. In the first half of this movie, Barney starts to learn some things about himself and also his ways of making friends and just friendship in general, and how that can be applied to his particular situation. However, he starts to apply these things. It's really fascinating. The momentum is building. You get really excited for it, but then the movie just sort of montages through it. And it's like, wait a minute, stop. I was really enjoying that. Why are you flying through it? It's just that montage just really killed the momentum and left me wanting more, but I would just have loved to have spent more time rather than just montage through it. It just sucks considering that they meandered through some of the more uninteresting parts of the movie and just chose to fast forward through potentially the most interesting part. But having said that, my friends, I'm going to say this movie's a 9 out of 10. It is amazing, and you should go see it right now. Bring your friends, bring your kids, bring your cousins, whoever, go watch it. It's totally worth your time. Friends, have you seen Ron's Gone Wrong? If so, what'd you think of it? You know where the comment section is. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching another Bankrupt Hippo movie review. Click right here if you like this and want to see more. I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.